This was a story that gripped the headlines. He was wanted for killing a Queens nurse. And when police found him, Daniel Drayton was in a Los Angeles hotel room with a woman who had allegedly been tied up and beaten. Drayton says he may have killed a total of 7 women, including women right here in our area.
Police are still working to confirm that he killed 3 women in the New York area, but we do know that he is the main suspect in the killing of a Queens nurse, Samantha Stewart. Police say Drayton used Tinder to find and stalk that young nurse. Joining us right now is Zanea Barney, and she met Drayton on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
And you guys dated last year for several months, about 6 months, correct?
Yes.
Until your relationship came to a violent end.
Yes.
Talk to us about what happened. And when you guys met, you thought this guy is your dream guy, right?
Yes. He didn't show no signs at all of being aggressive, possessive. You know, he didn't, no red flags, no warning signs. He appeared normal, regular conversations. He was able to, like, you know, to show me, like, being emotional. You know, a very well stand-up guy. I didn't see it coming.
So when did it go south?
It went south exactly when I decided to stop seeing him completely. I drew the line and was like, listen, like, you can't keep popping up at my house. You can't, like, he climbed through my window at a point, and then it was just like everything started getting a little scary. And I was just like, you know what? Like, we met up. He asked to meet up with me, and it was like, can we talk? I'm going to California for a job. I just want to talk to you. I want to see you before I go. And I said, okay, but this is, you know, we have to talk because this has to stop. And I really want you to understand, I just want to be your friend, and let's end it. No more, don't stop asking me questions about getting back together.
So
and that's when everything went left.
You started to see some anger signs.
Yes.
You tried to climb into your apartment window. Take us through what happened that day on Long Island.
Around that day, he hit me up around like since 8 that morning. He's been hitting me up consistently. I finally answered his call. That's what was showing. He started to become more aggressive because I started to ignore his calls. I answered. He asked to meet with me, you know, before he go to California for a job. And I said, okay. I said, what job? But he wouldn't explain. I said, okay, well, I'm going to get a bite to eat at Chipotle. Would you like to come? He said, okay, sure. When we got to Chipotle, he didn't eat anything at all. I finished my little meal, and I brought it with me in the car, and he asked then, you know, where are we going next? I said, well, you're going to get dropped off. I have things I have to do. He didn't want to hear that. He wanted to spend the whole entire day with me, and I, you know, redirected him like, no, I have things to do, but, like, you know, I could drop you off somewhere. He said, take me to Inwood Park. I left clothes in the park. I said, why would you leave clothes in the park? He said, because of the fact that he thought that that's where we were going to initially meet. I said, okay, drove to the park. As I'm approaching the park, I didn't see any car in sight. It was raining. It was cloudy out, pulled up towards the entrance of the park. Next thing you know, he just kept asking, like, are you seeing anybody else? Like, are you talking to anybody? Like, are we going to get back together? Is there a future? And I strictly said no.
But they got violent.
Yeah, it got violent. Right after I said that, he just he stepped outside the car, started checking his pockets. I asked him what he was looking for. He said a car charger. And I said, okay, well, I don't have a car charger, neither is it in the car. And that's when he looked at me and just jumped across, put both of his knees on top of my knees while I was still in the driver's seat with my seatbelt strapped in, and the car was in drive. And at that moment, he had somehow pushed it in park, but he started strangling me. And my first thought in my head was, I have to escape. Like, I have to get out of here. I did not want to, like, I never pictured myself being in that, like, moment.
Had he ever put a hand on you before that moment?
No, that was the first time.
And at this time, he is strangling you, putting his thumbs into your neck?
Yes, and to this day, I still have the mark on my neck. He put his thumb inside my throat, so I couldn't, like, swallow at all. And he constantly kept repeating, I'm gonna effing kill you, B-I-D-C-H, I'm gonna kill you.
There were some good Samaritans that came to your aid. Police were called. He was arrested and placed in jail.
Yes.
But he was released. We still don't know the reason why he was released. When you saw his picture on the news, what was going through your mind with this current story of this Queens nurse?
I was so scared and shocked because I did not know he was released. I thought he was still arrested because I had reached out to, you know, the 4th precinct. They already called me in the middle of the night one night to let me know he was arrested sometime in June, like late June. And I said, okay, I was so happy, I was relieved. You know, I didn't have to double lock my doors, watch my surroundings. Then when I seen his face all over the news, I'm like, he's released? You know, it was never told to me at all.
New this morning, we've learned that Drayton is now telling investigators that it was voices in his head that told him to do this to these 7 other women that he's claiming he could have killed. Knowing him for 6 months, dating him, do you think that he's lying about having schizophrenia and bipolar disorder?
I honestly feel like he didn't show any signs of that when I was dating him. Like, he's a very smart guy. He studies, he observes, and he also sent me messages that he has done this before, and he knows he does it because he gets away with it. And, you know, and then it's like, it's sad because I just feel like at this moment in time, he's gonna play the crazy role to get off the hook for what he's done. And he had a prior criminal history to this that I found out about it during our breakup, you know, that he'd done this before.
Do you ever think you'll use a dating app again?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, opening up and sharing your story. I know it's not easy to talk about, but thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, at 7:52 this morning in Los Angeles court earlier this week, Drayton pleaded not guilty charges of attempted murder, forcible rape, and false imprisonment. So, of course, we here at PIX11 are going to stay on top of this story as this case unfolds.